Hello, everyone. I am Donna Knutson, and I am a writing coach. What is that? It just means that I don't write books for people, but I help people as they're going through the process to get the support they need to get their books written. One of the things that I've discovered is that sometimes authors are a little shy about talking about their book, especially before the book is done. They often tell me, no, let me just finish it first, and then we can talk about it. What I know from talking with just about everyone who's an expert in this industry is that is about the worst advice you can give anyone. They want you to start talking about your book while it's an idea in your head. You cannot talk about your book too much. But a lot of authors who aren't also small business people, they're not always sure about how to get their books out in the world so that people can find them. And that is why I've asked Preethi Balasubramanian to come and join us today. Preethi is an Amazon #1 best-selling author of the book The Ease Equation. She has many talents. One of her talents is to help small business people improve their lives by taking their stress levels down. So if you've ever get an opportunity to see her speak, she's a keynote speaker. She has an excellent list of things that you can do to make your life easier. And that's part of what was behind her book, The Ease Equation. What I have her here today to do is to talk about her work that she does with authors. If you've never heard of a funnel before, or you had no idea that your book has a landing page of its own, Preethi's going to help us with those, and then we'll talk about some other options. So welcome, Preethi.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna.
So tell me a little bit about the product that you use to give your book a landing page, which is basically a nice little digital website for your book. And before you pull it up, tell me, if we're putting our book on Amazon, why would you also want a separate page just for your book to hang out?
So I would say book without a landing page or without having a marketing idea behind the book. It's like you open a beautiful bookstore, but have your bookstore in the middle of a forest. Then the book is there, the book is great, but how does anybody find it? So Amazon is like that big forest. You have millions of authors and millions of books there. And why or how would somebody find your book, right? So that's kind of why it's important to have that landing page, or important to have a funnel and things like that, because that's the way you direct people to your book, whether it's on the Amazon page or any other page that you're actually publishing it on. These things get people to the book.
Yes. And if you've ever, all of us have probably been on Amazon at some point. Some of us spend more time there or less time. It's really hard to find one thing that they're not. If you open up Amazon, Amazon is not going to take your book and say, hey, here's Preethi's book. So you're saying that these are ways to kind of make your book get seen in all of the sales that's going on.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So tell us about what's up. What is a landing page for your book?
So landing page, I would say, is like that one page, or it's more like that shop window where people can see your book and they know, okay, this is the book. And so I would say typically it's it can be just a one page online. And I typically use this platform called Canva. It's a online creation platform. You can even create social media posts and things on it. But then I use that for creating these landing pages. And you do not have to have a domain of your own initially. You don't have to have anything. You can use what you get free within Canva. And Canva has a free version, which is also quite sufficient to do these landing pages. And I would say, so a landing page basically should have your book cover or an image of your book itself. It should have what the book is about. It should have who is it for, who the book is for. And of course, a small short introduction about who you are. So an author bio or who you are. And if it's a nonfiction book, then maybe add some credentials that you have, which makes you a thought leader in that area and why people should actually look at your book. and then where to buy the book, of course. So from there, you can direct them to Amazon, to Indigo, to Barnes and Noble, wherever your book actually lives. And you can also have an email sign up option on the page itself, like a form that's linked to the page. So if you're, for example, like Donna said, you don't have a book today, but it's an idea. You can still create a landing page with an idea. You can have maybe just a cover page reveal on it. Still say this is what the book is going to be about. You can still have an email sign up there and have people sign up to learn more about your book. Maybe you can send them like small chapters or small blurbs as you write your book. So even before you've done and hit publish on your book, you already have a few people who are looking forward to buying the book when that actually gets published. So you're building a reader base even before the book is done. So you can put all these things on a landing page. And I use, like I said, I use Canva, and I also use this other platform called Book Funnel, and which also is an online platform. I can just briefly show you both the pages. This is the book funnel one that I said, and you can even upload actual ebooks on it. You can connect it to Stripe and even sell ebooks off book funnel directly. And this is also has a free version to connect, and even the paid version, because I think the free version only lets you have like I think one book on it, and but even the paid version I think is like only about $10 or $12 for a month, so it's not all that expensive. And you can create landing pages from here too. So you can have email sign up pages where you want people to sign up. You can have like downloadable pages. And in my case, like I have a book series. So I have a series page, which then maps to all of my individual books too in it. So you can create different forms of landing pages on this. And when somebody clicks and goes on it, this is kind of how it will look. So it'll have like since this is multiple books, if it's one book, it'll have like what the book is about. You can add a header or whatever image you want here. You can have a logo. You can have it links to all your social media links that you have. And you can basically have your books here. So this is one platform I use. The other one is more now progress to being more of my website. It used to be just one or two books initially. And this again, built on Canva, you can do it for free. I had it for free until the end of last year. Only this year did I finally decide to get myself a domain. Otherwise, it was so you can include like anything in it. Like, so this is my book one. So, and my book side of journey, I share it with my son, who's an almost 14-year-old who also writes books. So this will have information about both of us. And then I kind of have a bookshop, but I do not sell off the website. Again, this only has a small blurb about what the series is, what these books are. And if you click on them, it actually takes you to Amazon to actually buy the book. I'm not selling them off my website. And you can create this for like one book, multiple books. If you even say I'm not writing your own books, you're on you contribute to other anthologies, you can put your anthologies here. You can, and this is created on Canva. So this is my Canva one, where you can just go add pages, drag and drop text, drag and drop images. You can build it from here, and you can click and publish from here. So you can publish it as a website, and you can share this link with anybody who you want to share the information with. So I think, yeah, that's kind of it about the landing page side of things.
Excellent, excellent. The if you are a small business person, you've probably heard of having an email list before.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are not a small business person, you may not have heard of why it's important to have an email list. Basically, if you're not a small business person, you may have heard of something called MailChimp. It's a way to send out a mass email to people. And when they respond to it, you kind of collect their email address. So if you're collecting the email addresses of people who are interested in your book, as Preethi has showed you how to, put some nice things out there, then those people, you can be communicating with them and building the excitement about your upcoming release.
Mm-hmm.
If you have never really thought about it, and a lot of authors haven't, if you have a book, you have a business because you've created something to sell. So this is really it's a way of now thinking about telling people what it is that you have that's available to sell. And I see we have a question from Maureen. Go ahead, Maureen.
I have a question about domain. I have a website that I could just put a landing page right onto there.
Mm-hmm.
Would that work? Or, pardon me, and you know what? It has been really good with having people connect to my website. My history shows 7,000 people come to my website a month. Has been. I haven't looked at the algorithm lately. I'm actually seeing it slowing down without even looking at the numbers. I'm afraid to. Anyway, sharing some of my fears. My question is, do I put that on my website, or do I create a separate domain and look at using the book funnel? Can you have any suggestions, ideas, what that looks like?
I might suggest, like, depends on what your book is. If it's related to your already existing business or already things on your website, then yes, put it on your website, because it kind of then also becomes an additional resource that feeds into that business you're already doing. So yes, put it on. And I would say you can also have that and also have it on a book funnel, because when I put it on the book funnel, I use it like, or parts of my book or like samplers of my book. I use book funnel when I'm like, say, on a podcast or on a speaking engagement or things like that, and I want to give away something. Then I give them the book funnel link so they can come there, sign up, download that chapter or download that ebook. And for that purposes, I still use book funnel, though my major landing page for all the books are on my website.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay,
Do you
I
have a
didn't
follow-up to
exactly
that, Maureen?
understand. No,
No.
I'm just going to say I didn't exactly understand that. My question is the ebook on book funnel. I have an ebook already on my website that people can register for and get it downloaded. So I guess I'm questioning, what would book funnel do differently for me, because I'm in the process of writing my book. What would book funnel do differently for me than my website would do, where I already have all of those tools on my website? I have an ebook which is indirectly related to my book, which it has a completely different title. I could have that available on my website. And of course, then they can register from my website to the link to get my book and pay for it through into Amazon, I suppose would be the way to go. So I guess I'm questioning what would be the advantage to having it on book funnel and also on my website. Can you explain that to me further, please?
Yeah, sure. So book funnel are also, because it's a platform where you have lots of authors, they have things like book swaps. There are like people who run book clubs. There are people who do all of those initiatives. So on your website, it's just you and the initiatives that you do. But then here it gives you an opportunity to collaborate with other authors and do things together. So, and sometimes they also do they do bundle offers where it's one of my book, one of your book, one of maybe Summer's book and Donna's book, and we bundle it together and do it's a bundle. And then when instead of buying us individually, when they buy it together, they get a discount or something like that. And that way we can do a lot more of that collaborative related work on book funnel, which you can't when you have it on your website.
Summer had a question, and I was going to pop her in and then see if anybody else had a question, and then we'll circle back to your question.
Preethi answered my question. It was partly what Maureen asked, and it was answered. My second part was, do you see strangers buying your book? Like, not the people that you directly bring into book funnel, but does book funnel market your book, or is that an additional cost, or how does that work? Sales and marketing.
No, book funnel itself does not market your book. Book funnel is like the people you bring into it. And like I said, maybe through the collaborative activity, yes, I've got random people I don't know of who have purchased my books or who have signed up for something with me, but then they don't have a marketing or anything directly on the BookFunnel platform itself. No, they don't.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have a question for Preethi? Because if not, I'll circle back to Maureen and we'll let her finish up. Okay, Maureen.
Sure.
Good.
My question was to do with Stripe. You said it can connect to Stripe. I do use Stripe. And then how is that different from Stripe to Amazon? So if I had them had the link go directly to Amazon, they'd purchase from there opposed to Stripe, or would you use both or one or the other?
So my Amazon side of things are not connected to Stripe. So my Amazon one, whatever the royalties, they come into my bank. And on the BookFunnel is where I have it linked to Stripe. And sometimes I do like ebooks, or when I'm when I'm like a part of like an author challenge or things like that, then I direct them to the BookFunnel to go and buy books from there, because with Amazon, you don't get your email IDs. So if you want email IDs from people, then you have to have them buy out of BookFunnel, because on BookFunnel, they put their name and email ID to download the book. So that's the difference I see there, is you get to get their email IDs and you can then contact them later for other events or other book launches and things when you do it.
Thank you.
Now, if you are on Amazon, if you get reviews, that does lift your, they will promote you more. So if you can get people to rate reviews of your book and put that on Amazon, that will lift your profile. So Preethi has great ideas about, you could give away a little piece of a chapter. If you're still early in the book process, you can make a contest to help you come up with chapter names or character names, or if there's a name of a place, you can give them a couple of ideas. Anything that gets your readers actively involved. Now, you don't have to use any of the ideas that you get, but you do want to have them involved in the process, because there's excitement then, because they are part of your process of putting things together. The second thing is, if you have a business book and you know that you are doing something that is in conjunction with someone else that has a good following, you can contact that person. Maybe you can write something about them in your book, and then that then would connect the two of you. You could then have them saying, I'm featured in so-and-so's book. They talk about my process here. That gets somebody with a larger following sending their audience to go check out how they're mentioned in your book. So the process of thinking about these things while you are still thinking about the book, while you started writing the book, can give you lots of different little ideas like that.
Yeah, and I think also one thing I'd like to add is, many of us might think, why do we want emails, or why do we want the email list, is because you may think, oh, I am posting on social media. I have like a few hundred followers who are looking at it, and I can gain that interest from there for people to go buy my books when I launch them. But yeah, you can do that. But the way I see it is, social media is more like it's rented space. And if algorithms change, something happens, and you never know, if LinkedIn, Instagram disappears tomorrow, then so do your followers. But then with the email list, it's yours. You own them. You own those. That's more like your assets, and you own them, and you can reach out to them at any point later. And that way it may, and you typically would use like your email list, like I said, to share maybe some sample chapters. You could do, like, if you are contemplating, okay, is this or this a better cover? Send it out, ask your readers which one do they prefer and which one do they think aligns better. Or like you can even share like behind the scenes, right? Like if your story is, say, inspired by something that actually happened in your life, like do a small brief about, oh, this happened in my life and this is what is the reason behind this book. Or like Donna said, if you're thinking of a character, then maybe just share a single character information. You can invite them to like any events. If you're doing any, say, book signing or a book reading, you can invite these people. And for all of these, so it's more like you're building a long-term reader community who kind of then know you and then start coming to you. Because unless we are like probably the J.K. Rowling's, people don't know who we are. People have no idea who Preethi is. And until they know me as an author, know me as a person, they aren't going to come and buy my books.
I mean, I know, Preethi, we were brainstorming about different things that authors can do. Now, if you already write and you write regularly, Substack is a great place where you can write. Authors are going to probably want to write a blog because a blog is going to allow people to get to know you and what's going on with you. If you have a business, sometimes a newsletter is really a better thing. But if you're an author, you really kind of are going to want to write a blog. You can be, like Preethi said, talking about what's going on behind the scenes, the process. You had a character that insisted it kill itself off, or you could have said, I wrote this whole chapter and now it's dust, so I'm going to start from scratch. And if you talk about the frustration of that, people will understand and they're along on the ride for you and with you. And as long as you have people along on that ride with you, they're going to be really invested in what you do. Now, Summer, you have a book as well, right? Do you use your book on more than one platform, or is it just on like Amazon?
Right now, it's only the soft copy that's out. It's on my landing page on my website as well as on Amazon. The landing page is mostly to, for me to direct people so that they can give me their email and click the button and then it goes to Amazon, which is pigs. The hard copy or the paper-bound copy will be coming out soon. I haven't put an exact date on it, so I'll need to put in time and energy into getting that published.
The good thing is every time you publish a different format, that's an opportunity for a brand new campaign. So I know there are people who want to release everything all at once, but if you do each time you release a different format, that gives you a whole new opportunity to come back again and do another podcast with someone because it's about to come out in a different format. If you do a release and you want it to be in a bookstore, you're not going to be able to use Amazon. You're going to have to use another platform, probably something like an Ingram Spark. Why is this? Amazon has its own rules and its own marketplace. It's proprietary. It wants to sell its own things. It's not going to give Barnes & Noble the book and let Barnes & Noble make money off of it. But if you go through a company like an Ingram Spark, they will set up a wholesale rate for your book, and that will allow you to sell your book at any independent bookstore. In the back of the room, if you're doing a speech, you can order copies and sell it that way. And you could also get it in libraries through Ingram Spark. So it just depends upon what your goal is. You do not have to do any of these things. You want to match what you do with your book to your goal for the book. That's very important. Preethi, you want to talk to that at all? I mean, because you and your son. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yes, to your point, like if you just want the book to live within the Amazon ecosystem and you're okay with just that, and then you do only the Amazon KDP publishing. But then like Donna said, if you want to get it more a wider distribution, you want to get it into bookstores, you want to get it into other places like libraries, school libraries and things like that, then yeah, so I kind of do both. I publish on KDP, but I also do publish on Ingram Sparks because that's the way you can get them into other places. And I think one advantage I would say is also in terms of the ISBN, right? Like I think now everybody in the room who does anything with the books does know what an ISBN is. It's that barcode and that number you have behind your book, and that becomes like the global identifier for the book. And that again, if you publish on Amazon does have the option that they give you their own ISBN, but you also have an option of buying your own ISBN. And that again is, I would say, more of a strategic decision, because if you are using the Amazon ISBN, then that ISBN is registered under Amazon. It's not yours, you do not own it, and you cannot use that to publish anywhere outside of Amazon. But then if you own your own ISBN, you can publish on Ingram Sparks, you can publish with individual bookstores, you can have it printed and sell that on your own, you can do all of those. So it depends on which route you want to go. It's more like a strategic decision which way you want to go. And the advantage as a Canadian author is in Canada, you don't pay for your ISBN. Your ISBNs are free. Whereas in the US, you have to pay for it. So I think that's a small advantage I have from being here. So it's the ISBNs are free for us. But then that again, like even if it's an investment, I would say owning your own ISBN, it's again like owning your assets, owning your books. So I would say that's a needed investment if you're planning to have your book more long term, planning to make your book into your business, or planning to do more around your book. Then I would say yes, go and spend money and buy your ISBN. And maybe a little bit more I would like to add on also in terms of marketing or getting people to see your books, right? So like I said, when you publish and it's on Amazon, it's on Ingram Sparks, but then how do people find your books is some examples or some things I do, or I do author reading. So I do them for free initially. So like whether it's like my own kids' schools or a community nearby or recreation center nearby, I go do author readings. I go do book signing. I do sometimes do like I get myself on podcasts and other places where I can share about my book, what the themes behind my book, or why do I even write in the first place. A lot of like, and I think whether it's business or your books, people love to hear your origin stories. People love to know why you are actually writing, or why this book, why this topic. People really love to know that, and they really personally connect with you on an emotional level because of those stories. So you have an opportunity, you should share them, like, and either as videos or written posts, like maybe share some of that storytelling on social media. And also I look to collaborate with other authors. So I'm part of like a children's authors group that I'm part of, and we meet weekly, and we do virtual book fairs and things together. And for a lot of people, I've been asked like, oh, but if you do things with other children's books authors, like, aren't they your competition? Why would you do it with them? But the way I see it is everybody has a story to share, and your story is not for everyone, but it is for somebody. So even if I'm doing something with other authors, my book may be for A, B, and C, but their book may be applicable for some other set of people. So I don't see it as competition, but I see it as doing something collaboratively, which will actually benefit both of us.
I agree. So Preethi, if you could put your link information in the chat so we can reach you. I see that Mike McQuillan is here. I know that he works with authors to help them with speaking. You said that you speak, but I know you're a keynote speaker, so it's something that you do. People who are less familiar with it or not as comfortable with it, Mike has groups to help you practice that speaking, get it up to par, get your story sound. And he deals with that issue where people are like, well, but if I talk about what's in my book, will they buy it? You can actually have entire conversations, as Preethi was just saying, about your origin story, about the passion, what made you write the book. Matt shared with us that when he came in, that he promised was she your girlfriend then, Matt, or was she your fiance?
Yeah, we were still dating. We were still in college.
He promised her he would write a romance novel, and then he did. So the backstory to that would get so many people interested. So you could talk about that and never even delve into the things in the book, and people would be interested. So these are just different kinds of ways to get interest in your book. We're coming to the end of our time. I like to keep us tight. I do these talks every month. I always try and bring on experts who can help you learn different things about how to either improve the writing and or publishing elements of your book. So I hope you keep looking for the notices on Instagram and LinkedIn. You can come to my website, and I'd love to see you back here again for our next one. Thank you all. Preethi has put all of her information in the chat.
Yeah, no, I initially put it on a private chat with you. Now I put it in the group.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate it. You have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you so much for sharing all this with us, Preethi. I hope it will make this clear for some people and give them some new options.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.